I spent the final days of 2025 in a place that many people consider just flyover country, Oklahoma. On my last visit here, I was chasing the neon lights of Route 66, but this time, I wanted to explore more of the real history of Oklahoma. I arrived on a cold Monday afternoon, and after grabbing my rental, I decided to satisfy my craving for a well known local favorite, the Onion Burger. So I made my way to Sun Cattle Company in Oklahoma City's Film Row district, and honestly, the burger was as good as it was before, but for me, it was the dipping sauce. I think I used more of it than the ketchup. Now that I'd sated my appetite, I wanted to do a little exploring downtown despite the cold, so I headed to Centennial Park. The park is home to the old Union Station that was in operation from 1931 to 1967 and is now on the National Register of Historic Places. Looking at the old station, it kind of reminds you how much of a hub the city probably was at one time in terms of transportation. But the cold was no joke, and I decided it was time to head to my hotel. Tomorrow, we're going to leave the city limits and head south. See you in the morning. Day two started early with a fancy breakfast at Press and Plow in Norman, Oklahoma. Then I continued southwest towards the Wichita Mountains. Destination, Lawton, Oklahoma. When I arrived, I stopped at the Museum of the Great Plains. When I think of the Great Plains, I think of buffalo, pioneers, or wagon trains. You'll find that and more inside. This museum does an amazing job of showing you how people survived on this land for thousands of years. But to live in this area, you have to not only survive the land, you also have to watch the sky. This is a Terrible Tuesday exhibit dedicated to the devastating 1979 tornado outbreak that destroyed parts of this region. But reading about this disaster is one thing, feeling it is another. Go inside the built in simulation or storm shelter where you can experience exactly what those families and others went through on that terrible day. I'm not gonna lie, even though I knew it was fake, I was a little scared.
Happened today. Charlie, I'll tell you what, they got bad Of course, the tornado sirens were going off, but we just
Once I climbed out of that storm shelter, I needed to get my heart rate down a bit. So I headed outside to get fresh air and explore the museum's grounds. The grounds are laid out sort of like a frontier town where there's an old schoolhouse, a train depot, and a fort that unfortunately was closed that day. As I walked the grounds, I realized I wasn't alone. There were prairie dogs everywhere. According to the museum staff, these guys had to run of the place. They don't bother you, but they do make a lot of noise. Now let's trade the wild plains for the cattle trail. Located 45 minutes east of Lawton lies the town of Duncan and the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center, a place designed to highlight and educate you on the legacy of the historic cattle drive route that stretched from Texas to Kansas in the late 19th century. This is where my love for American West history really kicked in. I love this museum. As I toured it, I realized these cattle drives were so dangerous and not for the faint of heart. To move millions of cattle north facing storms, swollen rivers, outlaws, and stampedes, it took guts. After a day of learning about the cattle drives, there was only one way to end it. Back in Oklahoma City, at the oldest continuously operating restaurant, the Cattleman's Steakhouse. This local favorite has been around since 1910, and according to the folklore, the original owner lost a place in the dice game. Whether it's true or not, stepping inside definitely took me back in time and had me feeling like I was on a movie set. Sitting there, eating a steak in the Stockyard District, it just made sense to end my day here. Tomorrow, I was going to go into the heart of Oklahoma City, but for now, I'm going to enjoy my food. On my final day, I started the day in Bricktown at the Centennial Land Round Monument. If you want to learn the DNA of Oklahoma City, then look at these faces. In 1889, thousands of people rushed in Indian territory that we know today as Oklahoma. Walk the quiet canals and just try to imagine all the frenzy and the chaos. Next, I headed to Cafe Coco for breakfast. This is a popular run Guatemalan restaurant in Oklahoma City's Asian district. It was packed and for good reason. This place is proof that Oklahoma City isn't just steak and potatoes anymore. The food scene here is legit. Full of caffeine, it was time to get back on my mission. So I spent the afternoon doing a deep dive into Oklahoma's history. First, the Oklahoma History Center. Then it was off to the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. As a fan of the American West, this was the holy grail. Seeing the Native American tributes alongside the Buffalo Soldiers and cowboy history, it paints a full picture. It's not just a movie version of the West, but the real complicated history. When I was in there, I drove into downtown. The next spot I debated whether I wanted to come to, but as I parked my car, I realized I couldn't leave Oklahoma without visiting. That place is the Oklahoma City National Memorial. Even though you know the history, nothing can really prepare you as you relive that day. I paid my admissions, and then I was escorted up to the elevator, where you step back in time to that day, from the day of the bombing to the aftermath. Outside is a memorial garden where there's 168 chairs. The large ones are for the adults, and the small ones are for the children. And after a heavy emotional afternoon, I needed some comfort food. So I headed south to Moore for some quiet Thai food and capped off the night back at the hotel with a nice one cookie from Tiff's Treat. It was a sweet end to a trip that showed me so much more about Oklahoma than I could ever imagine. My first trip here was about the Mother Road, but this trip was about the people and the past. And if you're someone who is planning a trip to Oklahoma, I recommend getting off the interstate, check out the smaller towns, and just have fun. Be open to seeing something new. The best part about Oklahoma is that there's so much more to explore about the state, and I'll be back. I'm Coco Wander, and I encourage you to keep wandering, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Bye.